Hi, welcome back to Relatively Speaking 2020. My name is Rosemary, and I'm continuing part 2 of the video previously to this one, where I was talking about a celestial silicone organic computer and the simulation of life that we are within, an advanced simulation that we're in within our organic bodies, and how to break out of that and become light beings, become our true selves. And I'm talking, and you can see I have the Merkaba below. And this is the energy field that surrounds a person. And as each one spins in a different way, and how those number combinations fit, and the frequencies in which they are going to. And I'm using images here to actually show this. And I want to show how, okay, we have the Merkaba here. I talked previously about the Tree of Life. I was talking about the Quantum Codex box. And again, we have these 285 or 528 iterations, again, go with the chakra systems, and the 147, which does go with chakra systems, and within the 369, which is our 369 vibration, our energy, our emotions, the way they spin, and the 369s of the energy emotions that are within around us as well. And I want to talk a bit about the numbers again, okay? And I'm going to bring this one up to the top. We have the body here, and I'm going to talk about how, okay, 0 point energy, 0 energy, the heart energy. And even though this isn't an actual chakra point, a lower point, sacral point, it does start with a heartbeat as well, okay? So again, we have the numbers you see on the outside. We have 1, 2, 4, we have 8, 7, 5, but then we have, okay, 8, 2, 5. Now they cross over. 147 or 174 crossover. 369 within our body, again, the energy field within. 0 being the point where your heart comes out. And like I was talking about with vortex numbers. Okay, so I want to talk about the number 0 or 1 or 0, input output. So 0 is dynamic is gravity. It's contractive vortex gravity. Plus the torsion is the spin, the spiral, and the orbit of all. Again, so toroid field, toric field. The inward spiral vortex, you think of as gravity, of water being pulled down into a drain. Okay, black hole being sucked in, okay? It's the contractive 0 vortex. It's gravity. It is what happens when we have pressure put on us. What happens when you take carbon or coal and you put immense amounts of pressure on it, and it forms a diamond, a crystalline, something that lasts forever, okay? Energy, source, consciousness. It's also gravity and magnetisms, our physical forces, okay? So these are words that just may imply the personal attractive qualities of gravity and magnetism. Think of charisma. It's a personal gravity, personal magnetism that draws people in. So you have gravity, which sucks in, okay? So personal, positive energy that can suck in. It's charisma, it's talking, it's having that connection with a person. So in this way, a personal, conscious charisma is the all-attractive primary aspect. And it is essential and eternal. 0 isn't stagnant, void, or inert. It is the most complete designation. It is internal to all other destinations. 0 is the universal consciousness, universal being 1. 9 is the individual consciousness. So again, 0, but if you see 9, 9 is at the crown. So universal consciousness, the soul seat, what you see around you, and 9 being at the crown. Now I want to talk about universal, okay, within, soul, 9 being the crown, 9 being the individual's perception. We have 6-3. We have where the eyes are, your ears. Okay, you have the numbers there. What you perceive, 6-3, and now your hands. What are you touching? What are you feeling? Your feet. How do you move? How do you go through this world? Okay, these are all representative of these particular numbers, like in the Quantum Codex box where I mentioned this before. And how spirit is. So if we're going to talk about, like, okay, let's talk about the 3-6 defined. So working senses, okay, 3-6. There's this period of dull matter, which is the 1, 2s, 4, 8, 7, 5s. Okay, that number itself are vortex numbers. It's numbers in between. The mind, 6. Okay, you see at the top, you see 6 is a higher than the senses. It's intelligence. 7 is still higher than that mindset. 7 as being like 666 is being the number of man, 667 the next layer, which would be seven heaven, seven chakras all aligned. The soul part, so it's even higher. You have even higher than that as if you expand out, it's another 9, and then another 0, so another expansion outwards. It's even higher than intelligence. Okay, so conscience is 9. It is the sun alone illuminates all of this universe as a sun. Okay, and this particular perception, this observation that we're in, our sun does that. So does the living entity. Okay, so 9 is us within the body, 1 through 8. Again, if you look at the numbers on the outside, 1 through 8. Okay, and then you have 1 knowingly, 9, seeing the difference between the body, 1 through 8, and the owner, 9, of the body. So 1 through 8 can understand the process of liberation. The next sequence on the outside from this bondage that living entities 9 in this conditional world, the 1 through 8, the conditions of this world. The 0 is eternal. It's fragmented parts. It is the 1, 9, whose happiness is within 0, who is active within 0, who rejoices within, which is a 0, and is illuminated as 0. So an input and output. It's perfect. It is actually the perfect mystic, which is 9. It's a completion. It's what even yogis or yoga people who study that actually study. So we're talking about 1 through 8. 1 through 8 is body. You have 9 being individual consciousness. 1 through 8 again, the body, individual consciousness. Universal consciousness is 0. That the bubble that we're in, what we perceive as our universe. Body 1 through 8 is alive, awake, aware. 9 gives life consciously to the bodies. 0 gives life's consciousness to the individual consciousness. So again, your soul, what your avatar, what you're using to control your body. So you have the numbers 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, which is materials, the elements, elemental materials, the electrons on the outside. 3, 6, nerve senses, relays information. 9 is the individual soul. Universal soul is 0. So again, these numbers all play together. 0 being life force, 9 being like a musician. The actual magic part of it, the brain, the conscious, what you perceive, what you take in. 0 being a life force that goes through you so that you can perceive and take in. And you can perceive the universe on the outside again. And as I was saying, as above, so below, as a Merkaba, we are just small fractals of source within, perceiving the consciousness within source itself. Again, we are receiving that. And what better person, I say personalized, why would not source itself want to perceive itself inside its own simulation? And why not send somebody to control what? And you're in the body of source, in the mind of source. This is the body, the heart of it. Earth is the heart, the Gaia, the female, the feminine on the inside. And then even inside Earth, you have that molten iron core. You have more fire. You have masculine. So again, it's just one perception on the other, outside, and bubble again, and again. And we have, like I was talking about, electrons being quantum objects, clouds. They're both here, but they're not here. So they form a cloud. And so 9 is relative to 0. It is already aligned with 0. It's conscious and internal because of 0. It is subsidiary manifestations of 0. And 9 is the number of spirit. 9 is more subtle than 1 through 8. 9 is situated between the limited experiences of 1 through 8 and the unlimited experiences of 0. Again, the 0 on the outside, the bubble. They keep fractaling out. More multiverses as they bubble out. Again, a Metatron's cube. Because even multiverses, where they're perceived sitting next to each other, and they can merge over. Again, this is where we get the Mandela effect, where people say they remember something different, or they remember somebody dying and they're not, they're still alive. How many of us are here for a particular reason? To figure out what is going astray. What's going on in the heart space of source? Why is things a little off here? Why are people not ascending? What is preventing us from going within to go without? What is hindering that within a person? So, and I've talked about the energy 369, and I've talked about the chakras, third eye chakra being 852. How that bounces, 852. Again, so I want to bring up, we're going to bring up another. We have the element one. I'm going to bring up a person. We have the genders of the Merkabas. Now, if you can see, we have female representing earth and water, Gaia, okay? Male, fire and air. Molten lava, the atmosphere on the outside. Earth being sometimes cold and dark, and damp. And fire being hot and airy and abrasiveness and sometimes. And if you look at the numbers, we have 12-6, but do you see where the unity and where the spin is? Where the male rotation is clockwise, the pyramid on the top. And it's a tetrahedron. That is the Merkaba. And you have the female counterbound doing counterclockwise on the bottom. And I want to bring about that a person's source energy. Now, having other people connected to you energetically, having 6 points of contact energetically, which are spinning like electrons or even feminine electrons around a particular atom, origin point. This is where we've talked about the 6 degrees of separation and how we are here in a multiverse, a Mandela effect, where there are actually other creator, female and male entity creators here. Female entities, female Gaias, other Mother Earths, other Gaias here, other goddesses that are actually here within, source within, that are here at the same time. Other creating male forces. There's usually there's one particular source, one source that is controlling a lot of this. And as I've mentioned before, we have seen Scott's abilities to control or his motions control and attribute and go with the sun cycle. This is where I was talking about common threads and the stories within and perception multiverse. We go through history, we have Ra. Ra was the sun god. And that's just one aspect of it, but it is one aspect that's been told over and over, or people have seen that story branch out across the planet. Ra being the sun god, being able to control the sun, but also being the creator of people themselves, human beings. Not having those humans listen to him, learn from him. He went into the underworld, became the Osiris figure, which was the underworld figure, which is the resurrection figure, which actually goes with the Yeshua figure, and even right down to Odin. I have all these portrayed. This will be in a different video because I'm bringing up these particular numbers in Quantum Codex box for a reason right now. And I'm going to bring out, let's get rid of a few of these. Let's get rid of this one. And I'm going to bring out a few other pictures to show what we are talking about here. We have humans, and I want to bring out another Merkaba picture. So this one here. Come up. So we have all of these numbers in the way that they're related. Apparently it is brought up here. And how they're related to being a person. So here we go. We have to the top. We have, as you can see, the field, the toroidal field. So, but I want to see, like it says now, we have a galactic heart, an origin point in the galaxy, but also even on the outside of the galaxy, we have galaxies that are sitting in clusters as well. They form an actual shape as well. We have galactic clusters out there that actually look more like synapses in a brain, the brain of God, the mind of God. You have your heart in a person. See, heart, higher heart, pineal gland. We have the primordial cells. We have Earth's heart, so now Earth's core. So again, these are as above, so below pictures, how they're all related together. And I'm bringing this all up because it's come to a point for myself, following all of this knowledge, the sacred knowledge, the sacred geometry. Most people are looking for God on the outside. We're looking for the end of the Alpha and Omega, and like I said, religious texts. We're humans, we make God in our imagination because we are within Source, and we are imagining manifesting that out into the world. Why would not God want to come back and go, what's going on? This isn't the story that we're supposed to have. Which is now how you attribute a lot of these prophecies or end time prophecies, which actually show you how creation is. It's the next story. So I want to bring about a little bit of as above, so below. I also want to point out, here's your Fibonacci spiral that go with frequencies now. Here you go, musical spiral, a frequency, a color, and light, universal tuning. 432 hertz. Again, 432 is the number that is also representative of the actual numbers. And I'll show you here. Again, representative of degrees on Earth itself when you measure it. It's a particular measurement that's going on. So these are all attributed now even to a celestial numbering system, because as above, so below, so are these numbers, and so are the energies, so are the shapes. And when we starts getting into fractals of things, that's when we start seeing all of these other attributes. So I want to bring about this particular. And you can see, as above, so below. So we have atoms that have the same toroidal effect movements. We have our solar system. So our solar system again is our sun, and as our sun travels through the galaxy, it makes this spiral with all the planets coming around behind it, and it's moving, and it looks a lot like DNA. We even have this flower of, this is the Venus's cycle as seen from Earth and around the sun. It's making a flower pattern. Why do we think Venus? Okay, we named it Venus, Aphrodite, the goddess of love, unconditional love, the flower of life. The patterns, the petals, the mystic rose it's often called. And here we have DNA, and you can see the spirals. Again, same with the solar system. Same thing with the numbers, the allays. We have the DNA expressions. As above, so below, and as within, so without. So if we are a body inside of a simulation seeing this, and you look out into the celestial, whose body are we looking in? Whose are we in? What do we exist in? What simulation? And why is it, as I said, Source cannot be heard to perceive his own creation, his or her own creation, and with multiple positions. Again, humans, if you think of human beings as being expressions of Source to observe this, we played a game. Let's say you started a video game. Say you started a Skyrim game, and you played it through, and you decide to start another game with a different character. That second game is not going to be played through just like the first one. It's not going to be exactly the same. But now what if you had your first run player, the first avatar you made from your first game, now in your second game with you, perceiving it, experiencing it with you? You're able to see your person's path, or maybe now you're able to experience it with them. And then you wanted to experience more. Okay, I wanted to go a different path. Let's find a different way. You make another character. Again, so we have a population of people that are sources, pieces of Source, and we're here perceiving this. And there was one original source, one original consciousness that wanted to see and learn more. School of life to learn. So we are pieces of one particular story, fractals out that we branched out in this world. And a lot of people are looking for an origin. And I want to go back to the Venus picture, because think of origin point, which would be the big input in, right? The first expansion out. And we have the flower of life. You have Earth, and you have flower of life, and Earth goes around the sun, and we have Venus that goes around the sun, and what that orbit looks like from Earth, and Earth being the heart, love, flower of life, unconditional love from the heart, Venus going out, love itself. And when we look at the origin point of things going out, so as people are looking for out there that this simulation began with, the building blocks, the first Big Bang, to a point where we're all the way back here at a heart. You can see it within our celestial, in our solar system. You see that common thread. So ask yourself, Source on Earth, why not? Why would not God walk on earth? Why would he not be able to perceive his own creation? Why would that limit? He made all of this. He is inexisting of it. In your DNA, the letters, the Yahweh, the 4 letters themselves that represent atoms and within the structure of our DNA itself. Why would Source not want to come back to perceive this creation that he made? Or she? Or both together? Why would you not want to experience this life? The game, the simulation, the learning experience, and to figure out why the people are not able to move on. What is keeping them? What is, like I said, within religious texts, you can read it in any religious text, and I'm not religious myself, but spiritual, and like I had said before, each religious piece or text has at least an ounce of truth in it, not the entirety of it. It holds it like a stained glass piece of a broken window, one piece, one color of it. And it's when we start adding them all together, when we weave those webs together, that we come into an actual understanding of where the origin point comes from. Where is source? Where does the light come from? What is the entirety of the picture? What are we looking at that is RGB and CKMY and all of that which is in existence? What is our vibration? Where does that origin point come from? And why would it not be able to perceive itself in human form? And it's, you would think that it would be at a the rest of humanity would be at a disadvantage if the creator was here. But if the creator is here for a reason, why? Again, it is often attributed, and I have that within my common threads, Hindu religion. We have a Brahmin coming back, an actual inline Merkaba, completely balanced person, coming back to perceive this, but also to bring justice, to bring faith back to the people, to bring that lower vibrational fear and not have that within our body, so that we can actually resonate as light beings. We can perceive this and go on to the next phase, an evolutionary process. And it is a natural process that can happen in your body. I don't talk a lot about it, but the drug system, or I should say the medical system in here, look at the way money material is. It's all of that to keep your brain focused on something else, or to be living in fear and anxiety, to know I have all these diseases. Diseases is just when your vibration is out of tune, and it can be out of tune caused by fear, by constant fear, by living in survival mode, by not being able to obtain the things that are within, actually. Immortality can be within, and we're light beings. We can produce energy from within us. We can grab energy. Now, our bodies do require a bit of our 3D expanse, our world, but it doesn't require as much as we're taking right now from Gaia. If you look at Mother Earth, as much as being consumed, as much of its trees getting chopped out. The imbalance, again, heart. What is the imbalance from the heart space? The origin space. Why is it being imbalanced? Why is it infecting the body? Why is it infecting the consciousness of that we're perceiving it? And we are at a point in our times right now where words and thoughts and emotions do manifest. And I'm not saying at a point, because it's happening throughout history. And it's caused so much of a deviation on the way that humans are to be awake and aware, to be able to express themselves. But if you can do that in emotion, you can do that as an empath. How many empaths are out there right now that walk into a room, and a lot of them get what you call social anxiety, because you go into a room and you're perceiving the emotions, energy movements, energy motions from other people in the room without even talking. That is empathy. That's empathetic. That's also a form of telepathy, because brain, our thought patterns, are also vibrations through the synapses and neurons within our brain. Those also go out. Those also produce thoughts. So again, telepathy is a thing. How many people can actually read thoughts? And that's been proven as well. There are people out there that do perceive and pick up on thoughts, on feelings, on emotions, on what they're tied to, and how they go through the body and affect these chakras in the body, and how it becomes out of alignment and causes diseases. Yes, some of the food that we have, and not high quality food, it's producing it on a mass production, to the point where it's detrimental to, again, Earth. We live within symbiosis of Earth, within those paradigms, within those vibrations. But now I want to bring about the Yahweh itself. It is a frequency, the first frequency that came within existence. And it is in every person to know what that frequency is. because we came from that. We were made from that. The existence we live in, we are in, is a mathematical number pitch variation of that. Our soul within comes from that origin point. So again, if you're looking for an origin point and you're in tune with who you are inside, and as I said, I remember coming from origin, from source, to know, to follow. That was what was being put in my brain. Here's the library. Follow. To know that vibration, to see the common threads, to see the fractals, to see where things have deviated because of environment, other people, emotions, humans, interaction on this world. And to play that telephone game backwards, to go where am I following to? To follow. Because Alpha and Omega. There is an ending to a story and a beginning of another one. So as this one ends, as reincarnation ends, as we're going on, we're getting rid of karmic release at this time right now, in this important time where people are being more awake, more aware. Source has come to say, we're, vibration-wise, you can see where it's being pulled into a body, a person's body. Where does it come from? Where does the story originate from? And you will see those common threads as reflections, again, as above, so below, also within and then without, within the human body. And then how does that come out of the body? And as far as I know, like I've said, I've received keys from Scott himself. I've seen him give keys out to other people and unlock that within them. I've seen people recognize him for who he is. I'm just asking you to come experience, come and talk, come and learn, come learn from Vicky herself, Mystic Vicky. She does guidance with tarot. Come learn from Kara, Energies 1111, who works with chakras. She's an energy healer. She has studied this her entire life. She does astrological charts. She also does tarot, and she's amazing with it. Mystic Vicky does work with animals in the spirit realm. She sees beyond in that veil. She's able to see that and communicate through that. I work with the common threads. I paint the framework that you're seeing. I have the numbers through that, the quantum codex box. We talk about history and the common threads and untying that. How do we see the fractals? Come learn from Scott, who can help with energy healing. Again, energy. Energy is a signature, a pitch. This is how, as an energy healer, if you're able to recognize that energy frequency and you're yourself not misaligned, you're able to perceive what is source point. You're able to see, okay, that using source is using energy to push, to heal, to rewrite. Again, in the particular story, from an origin point, you will see how that manifestation's bubbled out in the last 46 years. Think of the times we are in. Think of the emotions that are being pushed out and how much control even just a collective and even in an individual, if you tie all those strings together, you can actually see where those strings have tied together with a particular story, a particular person's life, their emotions at the time, what they've said, what they didn't say, what they did and what they didn't do, and what they experienced in this lifetime has gone out. And again, time can be dilated. Time can be pushed back. How much of it, the people all alive right now, even in their entirety of your life, that you can think of the oldest person right now, just because we wrote it down in 3D space, think of a video game. Video game like Skyrim that is 11 years old. I forget how old it is. I'm using that in particular. All of that exists in that game. All of those stories, even the backstory in the game, the history of the game, the books within the game, are only 11 years old because they were inputted in 11 years. But in the game, it's perceived that that book and that history is tens of thousands of years old. If you're in an advanced simulation, if you're in the body mind of God, and it's such a large area of source itself, of unified living force, that which heartbeats through this entire universe and multiverse, because we're perceiving it in different time places, different perspectives. We're perceiving all of this inside. How big is that entity on the outside? And how much is time? This comes now back to micro and macro. If you're perceiving something on a blade of grass, everything else around you moves incredibly slow. And for you, it moves incredibly fast. So again, we're sitting here and oh my God, it takes forever for us to go around the center of the galaxy, our solar system. But now can you imagine if you're an entity bigger than our galaxy? It just seems like it goes so fast. It's so many millions of miles an hour. And yet here we are on Earth and we're going, oh, our Earth goes at these, it's speeding at light at millions of miles an hour. All this fast energy that's going, and yet you're standing here going, I'm not going that fast, am I? It's slower. It's where your perception is, how you're perceiving it. That's what time is an illusion. Then we use things to measure time because we're perceiving this right now. How many ticks, how long is this life? Can it go longer? And again, we're living with, and even I want to go down to what people call in the Bible or what have it, manna. And how manna is portrayed in a video game. Manna is magic. Manna was supposed to be what fed people. Energy, source, magic. That which was within, energy source, the force itself, manna. It is what feeds us. Once we're activating that in our body, we're able to move energy around. Your brain, mind over matter. Your brain, your thoughts, your emotions actually control your environment. You actually go in your environment, manipulate your environment. You could do it in a 3D sense, but you are also using your brain and emotions to do it. How much of your emotions and your thoughts affect your environment as it is? How much do you get angry and people feel it? Again, you don't actually see the energy going out, but you do feel it. You can see it on a person. You can perceive it as an empath. So these are things that we teach within the school, but it also, like I said, the stories. I want to tie them together with a person's particular story that we have been privileged to watch, or at least to know parts of it within our Discord. And in hopes of having this person tell their story. But most of it, if you think about it, if we're all pieces or fractals of source, if we all came together and told all of our story, all of it, even if it's just from our perspective, and it may not be true from each person's individual perspective, but if we told all of our stories, our life stories together, all of us, and looked at where the common threads intersected between all of those stories, it would be like putting together the stained glass window back together again to get to the whole, to see what picture we're looking at. What giant television simulated screen that we're living in. Advanced virtual reality, which is actually reality. How much of it do we control? What is our emotions controlling? Where we are light beings and we're continuing on in our body out as light beings. Where do those intersect? Where does that show the entire story? Who has that entirety key? Whose life is now on the bubble on the outside? So like I said, as source is on the outside and we are on the inside, in celestial realm, it's on the inside. And if you see it parodies a body, a Merkaba, okay, on the inside again, now a body. How much of your brain synapses look like synapses in a celestial realm? How much if you look at a computer chip, does it look like the circulatory system inside of a body? How much of all of that, even electricity pushed through, as energy pushed through your body, is your heartbeats, is in your body, is now heart beating. How much of it is breathing? Like the sun is beating out, breathing, and has flares go out. Or every black hole or white hole that pops off, every heartbeat is a new existence. All of that is within, and then without in our world that we manifest, and then even out further, and then out again. And then why not being all the way here? Why not source be here now at this time? Especially with what's going on in the world. And like I said with my previous videos, you can actually see. So I'm bringing that around. And like I said, I wanted to bring and tie the numbers into this. And if you've seen from the Quantum Codex box, and I showed you with the Merkabas and how the numbers actually relate with each other. So I'm going to bring up the Quantum Codex box one more time. And I'm going to bring up the Merkaba. You see here is the Merkaba and the Quantum Codex box. And again, you see the Quantum Codex box. So we have the way that the numbers fit, resonance, frequency, harmony, and how they're moving all in tandem. And again, they're color coded. So 9 being again on the outside. You can attribute this to also a celestial event, a flower of life pattern, Fibonacci. You can attribute this to vibrations of voice, of sound, of music. How much of us go through music and heals us? Music heals. Again, if you're watching the Speaking in Tongues series, which Scott does himself, what he's doing with his hands is actually using emotions. He's reading the energy from the music itself, and he's pushing the energy emotions out into the world, and it manifests out. It's come to a point, there were times last year where I would hear the music without knowing what he was listening to. I feel it in my body. I actually paint it. You can actually see me painting it, and I have videos of that as well. The music, as I listen to it in your body, again hits these numbers, these frequencies. It is healing. This is how I do soul paintings. I'm able to look into a person and see who they are in relation to source, the origin point. That is one of the abilities that I have. So again, when I came into Discord and I looked at a person, I looked at Scott, and I was able to see past life, his soul life, his source life, and what he does with energy. And I go, oh, I know who you are. And this story, again, you can learn within our Discord. Ask questions, come learn, come hear the story, come share your story and see where your common threads of not only his life but ours also intersect. Again, small, it goes inside of his body and it comes out in his world, and his world goes out again into this world, another bigger umbrella bubble. And even though we're perceiving it here at this level, again, a celestial realm, a celestial computer, a celestial body, an entirety. They're all connected together. So as you're looking within for source within, source is here as well, pushing out. Source is also on the outside. Source is within everything else that you see. It is the code, the creation code. It is the simulation code. The school of life, school of unconditional love. It's an experience. And for some of us, it's a prison because we become trapped within our lower 3D vibes. We become trapped with jealousy, greed, envy, all that which keeps us down. Even right down to the first Cain, Abel and Cain. The first acts of jealousy, because God favored what Abel had over Cain, and Cain became jealous. That jealousy caused an action. Satan, that we call Satan. Satan is all of that which is negative, which isn't horrible in a sense, but it creates a division. And it did not have to go this way. It didn't have to be this way at all. We could have learned as human, and even think about the lifespan of humans since that action in history. And it is in every religious or mythological story. The fight between Apophis and Ra, the darkness and the light. And light always wins in the dark. Light always wins at the end. Light workers are here. How much of us are light workers? How much of us are seeds that have grown into light workers? How much have they grown into light workers into celestial beings? How much has grown into celestial beings into something else? Gone beyond. How much of us are manifestors into this world? And like I said, if we're all out here helping together, then let's work together for the common goal. Let's go to the origin point, the one that is writing the code out in this world, the one that can recode, reorganize, reheal, to become our true selves again. So once again, if you'd like to learn, I'm asking you to come join us within Discord. This is just what you see here is just scratching the surface on this. And this is part 2 of the video series. So there's many more to come. And I'm actually would like you to take a look at, you can bring it up. There is a video out. Scott uses ARC as a way to describe the relationship between the silicone computer, the organic computer, and now we're even talking a celestial computer, and how in a universe can fan out to a multiverse. Different options, different scenarios. You could be your neighbor next door, could be your past life being lived out right next to you. Your neighbor on your other side could be your future life having been lived out right next to you. All within the realm of possibilities. So again, if you'd like to learn, my name is Rosemary, and I'm signing off. And I would encourage you to come in Discord, learn, enjoy our life coaching. Come join the art session, learn how to paint, learn how to push music, learn how to be an energy healer with Scott. He offers great solutions for life coaching again, and he is the most profound energy healer I have learned from and I have ever seen. I have not seen anybody else do that. And not to say anything against a recent healing that I went to a healing circle, but it was 6 or 7 different people. We're able to see, and again, 6 or 7 different people working together to do that. Now, can you imagine if we all even came together even more to manifest a better future? This is what we're building. It's called Community Project or Unity Project up within our Discord. So again, please join us. Hope to see you there.